everyone, and welcome to AustCham Thailand's Business Connections Community, an online program where we keep you updated on what's happening in the Australian Thai business community. I'm your host, Brendan Cunningham, the Executive Director at AustCham. Coming up in today's episode, we're very focused on tourism as we meet the Chief Commercial Officer at Minor Hotels, Michael Marshall. We also welcome a new director to the AustCham board, also from the hotel sector, better known as Khun Kwan Juthamas Carranco from So Bangkok. And finally, our COVID-19 CSR care package program is going festive. AustCham Vice President and Country Manager at Linfox Thailand, Saj Iqbal, joins us to talk more about that. Stay with us. Welcome back. In our business section today, good news, travel is back. And we welcome, to talk about the all-important hospitality and tourism sector, Michael Marshall, Chief Commercial Officer at our gold sponsor, Minor Hotels. Michael, how are you?
Very well, thanks. Great to see you again, Brendan.
It's
good to be here today. Thank you.
Excellent. Now, before we go into our segment, we held the first networking event for any chamber last week at the Anantara Riverside. How did that go?
It was great, and thank you for holding it at Anantara Riverside. We actually held it on the terrace at Trader Vic's. So we had 100 people, which was great, and it was also good to see Australia, AustCham, leading the way with the first event after the lockdown. So it was great seeing everybody back to normal again, yes.
Excellent. We do like to be at the forefront of events, as you know, and we couldn't have done it, of course, without the support of Minor Hotels.
Thank you, Brendan.
Now, getting down to business, Michael, everybody knows that of all the sectors, tourism was one of, if not the hardest hit by the COVID pandemic. I know from what I've read from talking to members, you've been at the coalface of it. Can you tell our members what's the actual extent that the hotel industry was hit?
Yes, it's been a really, really tough 2 years actually, Brendan, and the whole industry here in Thailand has been hit, you know, from hotels to travel agents, to operators, airlines, of course. And you know, it's good now that we start to open up the country, and that's a big positive step after 2 years really of relying on domestic tourism, which is what everybody's had to do. So yeah, we really had to pivot, you know, when the crisis first started, because actually if you look back to 2019, 90% of our business here in Thailand came from international travellers,
right,
and then 10% was from Thais. But of course we suddenly had no international travellers, so we had to pivot. And we really had to change our service, our experiences, our marketing, get our Instagram really sorted out, because Instagram is so important here. Get Instagram spots in the hotels. So a lot of changes over the past 2 years. But yeah, really pleased to see things moving now and the country opening up.
Excellent. And yeah, just on the Thailand front, I remember at the end of 2019, the Thai government were forecasting 40 million arrivals in 2020. Australia has a population of about 27 million, so that's a lot more than the population of Australia that just weren't here in that year, and of course the following year, this year as well. It's incredible, really.
Well, 2019 was a record year. I think nearly 40 million, or just over 40 million visitors to Thailand, which was unbelievable. But we went down to a very low level, and now it's starting to rebuild finally. So there's some good news. Yeah.
Excellent. Now, Minor, of course, is a very well-known Thai company, but global presence is enormous. So we know that it had an impact on Thailand. What about the other regions? Can you give us a breakdown of Europe, Asia, Australia, etc.?
Well, when it first hit, as you know, it spread across Europe and Asia. We actually ended up closing 90% of our hotels. Wow. Which was really, really difficult, you know, and we had to put people on short-time working, on salary cuts, which went on for a long time. So it was really, really difficult. But what we've seen, with the recovery in Europe has been strong, especially over the summer. But in our region here, the first to recover were the Maldives and the Middle East. Maldives opened up with just a very simple, test on arrival, and then you go and have your holiday. And then Dubai and the UAE and the Middle East also. So this year we're doing really, really well in the Maldives and the Middle East and in Europe. Asia, we sort of missed it. We had our 2020 this year, COVID, which Europe had last year. So, the fact that all the borders have been closed here across Asia has been a real challenge. And not many people want to come if you have to have 2 weeks or 3 weeks quarantine. So with the quarantine now being reduced or in Thailand now it's gone, then it's looking a lot more optimistic.
Right. Yeah, it really did feel, just on the pandemic, it felt like Asia, Australia especially, and New Zealand, victims of success in that held the pandemic numbers so low in 2020 that it was going to get us eventually, right? And it got everyone in 2021, whereas Europe took that hit in 2020 and bounced back quicker.
Yes, I mean, going back to Australia, we do really well with domestic business in Australia for all our Oaks and Navani hotels there. And we were only hit when the Delta variant came in, and then cities like Sydney and Melbourne and Brisbane had the lockdowns. But Queensland has been booming, right the way through the whole period. But we are looking forward to Australia opening the borders and for Australians travelling again, and that's maybe something we can talk about later.
Many of the AustCham members, myself included, are as well, just to go home. With the global vaccine rollout continuing, the general public is a lot more optimistic. We talked about Australians being able to go home. A lot of Australians are going home for Christmas, which is great. Not everyone's optimistic. Some people are still very cautious. Where do you sit on the optimism level?
We're very optimistic, looking at what we've seen in the Maldives, the Middle East, and in Europe when it's opened. Yes, we need to be careful, and it needs to be safe tourism. Bringing vaccinated visitors in, the risk is low, and we've seen that even with the quarantine hotels that we've had. The number of people who actually had COVID is very, very, very low. Right. So I think the key is that we keep it as simple as possible. We've had a lot of paperwork, certificates and whatever that's required, so that sometimes you need to travel with a file this thick. This is definitely an obstacle for people wanting to travel, and maybe puts them off. So, but we need to get tourism back, business travels, delegations, everybody coming back. So we're sort of learning to live with the COVID and get business back. So we are optimistic that next year will be a good year and build up back towards that 2019 number, that we hope to get back to as soon as possible.
Good. So how do you see 2022 unfolding for the travel industry?
Well, we see now that bookings are very short. A lot of last-minute bookings coming through. Even for places like the Maldives, which used to be sort of 6 months booking window. So it's picking up for Christmas, New Year. That's good. I mean, if you look at Thailand, Phuket is leading the way because of the flight access, and the number of international flights that are going directly into Phuket makes a big difference. From a Thailand point of view, we want to start pushing Koh Samui, and this is a big opportunity, but it's more difficult to get to because you need connecting flights. There are some flights coming in from Singapore, and then of course Bangkok, which is a huge hub. So now that that's open, because a lot of people want to go to the north or to the south. But I think definitely, we'll see more international travellers coming in Q1, Q2, Q3, gradually building up to, sort of 2019 levels in Q4. That's what we're looking at.
That would be fantastic for everyone, including all the support companies that service the hotel and tourism sector as well. You mentioned a few times Maldives was very successful based on, you used the word easy a couple of times, easy access, easy approval, etc. I think that leads well into my next question. What do you think to really recharge the industry? What are some things that need to change or adapt to get visitors back?
I think, the restrictions are key, making sure there is a minimum as possible, and keeping obviously everybody safe, but being able to test at Bangkok airport would be a big step forward. You can do that in Phuket, you can do that in Samui. This would then speed it up so that people can travel. I think we need to make this Thailand pass much quicker. It's varying from 1 day, 3 days or 8 days. So this pass needs to be as fast as possible, because if you're booking your holiday or your flight, you're nervous about booking if you have to wait such a long time to get your Thailand pass. And if that's going to take, you wait 8 days, you've probably lost your flight or your booking. Right. So there's some challenges there. I think being able to have, the alcohol available and events open and everything across the country will send a very clear message. And then we've got a lot of activities that TAT are doing, and in every country that's the key source market, which is all good, but we just need to make it as simple and easy as to book and for people to to come. There's so much pent-up demand. Thailand's a great destination, and across Asia there's so many great destinations that people from Australia or Europe or whatever who've been doing domestic holidays over the last 2 years haven't really travelled, they want to travel to. And I think that's what we need to capitalise on next year. Absolutely.
So the business travel is probably a little more prone to being okay with jumping through the hoops because it's part of doing business. But a holiday maker would seem contradictory to be going through a nervous process just to be able to go and sit on a beach. So it would make things a lot easier. Fortunately, your boss has been a very strong advocate for improving restrictions and processes, so we hope that he continues with that as well.
Yes, he's still writing letters, I think, as you saw. So we're keeping the dialogue going, and working for the best we can for the country and for all hospitality and business across Thailand.
Excellent. So can we move down to final thoughts? Do you have any advice or tips for future travellers, business or holiday makers, as we move into a new world essentially in 2022?
I think people, should not worry about travelling now. They should get back to travelling and enjoy what is out there. A lot of things have improved. Experiences, we've redeveloped all our experiences actually, and particularly those local unique experiences that you can find in many countries, especially in Thailand. We've developed those, so it's not crowded anymore. You can really go around and see all the museums, all the events, and enjoy it, and take advantage of the people I think are spending longer in places, which is good. So you sort of can spend more quality time with the family or the friends you're traveling with and enjoy those local experiences. Another trend we're seeing, and people have saved some money over the COVID period, so now they're looking, okay, well, I haven't travelled for a couple of years, let's travel, and people are booking. We actually sell the villas, pool villas and pool suites faster than the rooms actually now, which is an interesting trend. And also people want privacy or time together, so they're booking 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom or whatever.
Interesting.
Doing in-room or in-villa dining is another popular thing that we've seen take off, where again it's safe, it's private, and it's a little bit special to do something like this. So we're looking forward to weddings coming back. There's a lot of people who couldn't get married over the COVID period, so
and that
we're looking
is
for
pent-up demand, right?
So and then of course from a business perspective, to get the business delegations coming again, and business and companies doing meetings again. We're ready with hybrid meetings, so if some people can't travel, we can do a face-to-face meeting for some people with a hybrid setup. So we
Right.
put that in place in all our hotels to take advantage of the new technology that's available.
Do you think there was a prediction that there might not be as much travel because we can now do hybrid meetings or online meetings? Do you think that will stick, or do you think now that after being caged for so long, people will think, I know I can do it online, but I need to be there?
I think the doomsday predictions are not going to happen. I think business travel and travel is coming back. You see it in the US. You see what happens as soon as they open the corridor between Sydney and Melbourne, and which is one of the busiest routes, I think, in terms of business travel.
Absolutely.
And the flights are all put on quickly, and they fill up, and people need to meet face to face often to do the new deal or to secure the existing contract or whatever, which you can do it as best as you can on Zoom or Teams or whatever, but there's no substitute for that relationship face-to-face meeting. And I think the trips may be shorter or whatever, but it's definitely coming back, I'm sure. And we see that, with as soon as those lockdowns happened in Australia, especially with Sydney and Melbourne, and then when they put them back on again, the flights filled up. Yeah, as soon as people felt safe, it was okay to go. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's good news, because we do enjoy meeting people in person, of course.
Yes.
That's why we once again thank Maida and Anantara Riverside for bringing us back to meet each other in our first Sundowners as well.
Thank you, Brendan.
Okay. Well, Michael, thank you for coming in. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.
And look forward to seeing things open and minor hotels go back to booming again over the coming year.
Great, and we look forward to working closely with AustCham as we have over many, many years. So, and with all the community here. So, thank you.
Excellent. Thanks, Michael.
Thanks.
Michael Marshall, Chief Commercial Officer at Minor Hotels. Coming up next, our connection section. Stay with us.
DollarSmart Global is the leading Asia-based payments business. We offer flexible online solutions for locally collecting money and making payments to bank accounts, cash payout agents, and digital wallets across Asia. With DollarSmart Global, your money's in good hands. Visit dollarsmartglobal.com to set up your collection and payment solution in Asia today.
And welcome back. In our connection section, we're meeting a member and a new director at AustCham Thailand. I'm talking about Miss Juthamas Carranco, better known to the AustCham community as Kwan. Kwan, how are you?
Very good. Thank you for having me here too.
Great. So Kwan, you're normally known, of course, to the AustCham community as the Director of Business Development at the wonderful property So Bangkok. You are now also known as a Director on the AustCham board. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Okay. So I guess can we start, you've only been in the job a very short time, but can you let us know, the audience know, your initial impressions have been on the board and what your expectations are?
To be honest, because you bring me this news, I was excited. It was really not expected at all. I have been around the AustCham, as I think a lot of people have seen, the engagement and the contributions from the hotel and personally, but I never expect to get on a board. I always think that's very privileged area, but when I was told of the opportunity, I just can't say no.
Excellent, and we're glad you've joined us. So you've had a very short time, only a few weeks to really think about the role, but what are your initial thoughts and expectations?
I think one of the really good reasons why I thought I'm ready to step up in the role of the board of director is also because I start engaging more in a bigger role, particularly because now I'm also holding the role as co-chairperson for TICA, which is the Thailand Incentive and Convention Association. And with that, it means I have more opportunity to work with the government bureau, particularly with TZ.
Good.
Which means I would be able to bridge between the government segment and also the private sector.
Excellent. So yes, you have mentioned, I know you have quite close connections there, which is good. What are some of the potential activities we might be able to do with TICA or TZ?
I give you, for example, particularly because we have seen the situations with the pandemic since last year. With this situation, it needs to, bring in some new initiative, because we are unable to bring potential customer, travelers, or buyers from international. So last year we have come up with an idea of how to really still continue to promote the MICE and events, bring in international traveler. So I thought, why don't we try to twist it from the the expat point of view?
Right.
Because if we could convince those who already live here to even try to bring their company, which has regional elsewhere, to trying to bring in their own people and even showcase what they have not seen in Thailand before. I think that would be also, a bit remarkable of stepping further to try to just convince people outside the country, but convince people inside the country who have not seen potential of Thailand.
Absolutely, and I know a lot of our members who end of last year and now that we're coming out again, who are travelling to places that they didn't go to before, just to see what used to be called, and probably still is, the unseen Thailand and the different amazing places.
Correct.
I've certainly seen you through your social media account all over Thailand as well, and it does really promote you.
Right.
You've been to some wonderful places.
Right.
Let's talk about Bangkok. It's a very well-known and wonderful property just down there on the corner of Saton opposite Lumpini Park, but hasn't been so great the last couple of years. Can we be a little serious, and how has it actually been for you and so for the past 18 months?
I have been with this property for quite a long time, and long enough for me to really take up, different type of challenge.
Right.
Where a lot of people don't understand that actually being in one same property for a long time, there's a lot of things to do. And with situations, I remember at the time that I joined, it was the time that we have protests. Right. So I can look out, from my hotel, and I can see what's going on with different colors, battle at the same time. And with the flood we've been through, and we have seen this pandemic that came in, and it's very challenging for us to try to think out of the box.
Certainly.
Seeing what else we can do. So we have closed the hotel quite a long time for this year, and in order to come back to the business, we have to think, what can we do differently in order to bring in the business? Who can be our new customer? Because we cannot target international, since the border will still remain closing at the time. I twisted the hotel. Now I can be proudly present that at one point we have been allocated our hotel to be part of the hospital. Yes. So we were doing a hospital business. Yeah, good. And I'm very proud of it, because through this process we learned the best way to treat the customer well.
Excellent.
Yeah, because a lot of people looking it from another side, that maybe it's a scary area to look at. But if we all think, why do we go to the hospital? Despite that some, all type of patients are there to get their treatment. There's a lot of disease in the hospital, and that's the reason why the hospital have to learn to take best care of their patients.
Certainly.
And same with us. We have learned those protocols from the hospital, being with them for a very short period of time. But I think that learning is being gracious.
Good.
To all the team.
I'm sure the travellers, when they return, they will be a lot more health conscious on little things. I've washed my hands more in the past 18 months than I have in my previous 40-something years.
Right.
So I'm sure we're all mindful of that and appreciate the new standards that are coming in.
Definitely. And it's also helped us, particularly with the reopening of Thailand, whereby I think all the hotel has to go through this certification called SHA Plus, in which the hotel has to be working hands in hand with the hospital.
Right.
So it was, quite convenient for us, because we have already built that relationship along the way.
Great, so you've prepped it already.
Correct.
Where you mentioned that the reopening of Thailand, essentially the reopening of the world, a lot more better news moving forward. Tell us about Bangkok now. What are some of the activities? What's happening?
There's a lot of things where, Seoul has always been known as the luxury playground. I'm very proud of the brand. A lot of people still calling the hotel name wrongly. Right. Sofitel Seoul or Seoul Sofitel, which no longer being used. So the hotel currently name is Seoul, Bangkok,
Right.
and Seoul has address all around the world right now with 10% in the world,
Wow.
which being known as a fashion-led hotel brand. So the Seoul Hotels and Resort now have location in the Americas, in Europe, in Asia, and in fact in Australia.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so Seoul Melbourne is already in the pipeline and would
Good.
be open in 2023, which means I will have better relationship with the Australian community.
Excellent. Good. And what about the outlook for 2022? Looking at both, let's start with So Bangkok and
Yeah.
their outlook, and then move on to what the hospitality sector for AustCham can expect.
So into 2022, we already start seeing some good, some good trend. We can already see the business picking up in the month of November, and also moving forward. I believe with the restriction that's slowly easing, all the business and service segment, we will be able to do more business
Good.
with international and vice versa. If the borders start to reopen, not just only for us, if the others start easing those restrictions as well, things are slowly going to get better.
Excellent. And that 25% of our membership base is, of course, hospitality and tourism, either direct, such as hotels, or related service in the industry. That means it's going to be better for our members in general.
Definitely.
So anything our members can expect, noting that you're still quite new to the role.
Yeah, I am very excited, and since I have been in the industry and connected to a lot of people, I want to be able to be their voice. I want to be able to, hear the feedback and communicate between the bureau or the government who I can connect to, and also to bring their news. For example, when the government runs some particular campaign and they want to recruit more companies or corporate sector to join the campaign, I think that's where I'll come and play in between, because I would definitely be able to create this collaboration more between two parts.
Excellent. And
Yeah.
we certainly enjoy working with those agencies as well. So we look forward to more of that in 2022.
Definitely, I look forward to that too.
Great. Thank you, Kwan. Pleasure to have you on the program with us.
Thank you so much, and yeah, thank you again for seeing what I do and in having me on the board.
Excellent. Thanks, Kwan.
Thank you. Khop khun ka.
It's Kun Kwan, Juthamas Carranco, Director of Business Development at So Bangkok, and our newest director on the AustCham board. Coming up next, our community section. Stay with us. Welcome back. In our community section today, we welcome back to AustCham TV, AustCham Vice President and Country Manager Thailand at Linfox, Saj Iqbal. Saj, how are you?
Good afternoon, Brendan. Nice to see you again.
Always good to see you. Now, Saj, I believe our COVID-19 care package project is going festive.
It certainly is, but before maybe I go into that one, let me give you a little bit of an update on the programme to date. It's been absolutely awesome. We met up, I think, mid-year, and we were trying to come up with this 1,000 for 1,000, so 1,000 care packages for 1,000 baht per care package. And our awesome members and sponsors have super exceeded that target. So let me just tell you where we are currently.
So how are we now?
So if we remember, we were looking at donating to 4 care hubs around the Eastern Seaboard, Bangkok, Phuket and Pattaya.
Right.
And to date, we've done 3 packing events, 600 boxes per packing event. So we've actually managed to achieve 1,800 boxes in the last 3 months. So, and that's equivalent to 1.8 million Thai baht donated by our kind members and sponsors.
Unbelievable. Great. And we've got an even bigger thing coming up.
We have. So we gave a bit of a respite for a month, and we let everyone kind of get back to square one. And we wanted to really hit the end of the year with a big push, so we've come up with a festive campaign. We've also linked up with the British Chamber as well, so we're doing this in partnership with the BCCT. And we're doing a festive season, and it's actually called Gift a COVID Care Package this festive season.
Right.
So gift.
So what does that mean?
So basically, if you all remember in the past when people wanted to give Christmas cards and they wanted to save money, they would say, oh, I've donated money to this charity instead of giving you a Christmas card. And that's where this concept came from. Many of us won't get home this festive season. Many of us want to support this program. So this is an opportunity for you to gift a COVID care package instead of a gift to a friend or a family member or even an organization.
So for the non-shopper types like myself who maybe are scratching my head walking around a department store wondering what to get for my wife and kids, my mum and dad back home, I can simply
give one of these, give a COVID care package this festive season.
And they'll of course appreciate it. Wow, yes, that's exactly what I need after it's been a pretty horrendous couple of years.
It has, and look, and we've obviously had a very tough time, and I think the important thing to remember is, even though most of us have now gone back to work, we're back in the offices, the country is starting to open up again, Bangkok in particular is opening up, people are coming back into the country. COVID is still there. There are still significant cases in Thailand, around Thailand, and people still need support in Thailand. So we want to basically say we haven't forgotten.
Yes.
We want, as an expat community, we want to thank the Thailand country and the people of Thailand and give back this festive season. And our aim is to try and achieve 1,000 care packages again by the 1st of December. What I'd like to share with everyone is just a couple of little things we've got different because it is festive. The first thing is I've got this awesome card, Christmas card, and this will go out this week to everyone who's donated to date in the first 3 programs. So this is thanking them for their donation, and hopefully we can get some more donations from you as well. Secondly, those who donate in this program, this is the 4th program in the festive program, we've got this awesome card here with packages falling into the skyline around Bangkok. And this is a thank you to donate in this 4th time. And also you can give this card away to your friends or your family members saying that you have donated on their behalf, and you will receive 1 card per donation. So look, a really, really clever way and a really simple way to support and give this festive season.
It certainly is, and that's certainly where I'll be Christmas shopping this year myself.
Well, thank you. We look forward to it. And we've had really good response so far. Individuals have donated 1, 5, 10. So look, it's really going very well.
Great. It's great to have our friends at the BCCT on board. We have a very healthy rivalry as Australia and Great Britain always had, but we're very good friends. We collaborate a lot, and it's great to have them on board. What activities are we looking at doing with them?
Sure.
Or have done with them?
We've already, the 3rd care package program, we did together as a joint program with the BCCT, and as you know, we used the Ashes as a kind of backdrop to that, so that went really well. So that took us to the 1,800 mark. In this program now, with this final 1,000 that we're trying to achieve, we've got a few programs set up. So we're actually going out to the events that are happening. So we're doing the usual mailers and stuff, and also contacting companies that we know, but we're going out to different events. So we've already been out to the Bev Chain Golf Tournament, and we got 71,000 bahts worth of donations, which was 71 boxes. So thank you, all you golfers out there. Last week we were at the Sundowners, the AustCham Sundowners, and we got about 80,000 baht at that event. So thank you for the AustCham community for those 80 donations, and they all got one of these awesome cards on the night. And then the next night at the Peninsula was the BCCT networking event, and we achieved just over 30,000 baht there as well. So that's gone really well.
Yeah.
So later this week we've got the Sundowners in Phuket. So we'll be promoting again the care package with our community down in Phuket, and one of our care hubs is in Phuket as well, so I know they're coming along to support. And then the final drive is actually on the 1st of December.
Right.
So the 1st of December will be our packing event. Hopefully we'll be packing 1,000 boxes that day. But also, and that's going to be at the Marriott Marquis, Queens at Sukhumvit 22. But later that evening, we also have the next Sundowners, and that Sundowners is sponsored by Linfox Logistics. Yes. So we'll be sponsoring that Sundowners, and we're hoping to do a live event as well. So that afternoon, we'll be doing the packing of the 1,000 or wherever we are by that point. And then as members come in for the Sundowners in the evening, you have an opportunity to again get your awesome card, but then also put your name on one of these labels and actually do a live packing event that evening.
Pack it yourself. So you can basically, we'll have everything there and you can just pack the box
Pack
yourself.
it yourself, sign
seal
your
it up,
name,
sign your name, send it off.
and that box the next day will be going to one of our care hubs. So we'll do that live on the night. So, you know, if we're not at the 1,000 number by the 1st, I'm sure by the end of the evening we should be well towards that 1,000 number.
Certainly give us motivation for a target anyway.
Yeah, totally. And look, every one box makes a difference to one family, and that's what we want to do.
Excellent. So any final words, Saj, for the, if it's going to be successful, what have we actually achieved?
So if, well, not if, once we get to that extra
Good one.
1,000, we will have achieved 2,800 boxes, which is equivalent of 2.8 million baht
Wow.
in, you know, a little over 3 or 4 months. I mean, that's come straight from the members. It's also come from our sponsors. I have to also say it's also come from non-members as well, or ex-members. So we've had donations from Australia, the Middle East, UK, I've got to mention Scotland separately, you know,
Absolutely.
from members and non-members who have heard about the program.
Right.
We've also had some businessmen in Singapore hear about the program and wanted to donate on behalf of their business in Singapore. So it's gone, you know, global. So it's been absolutely awesome. You know, it's been really well taken by everyone in the community. What I'd like to just probably end up is thanking a few people if I can.
Absolutely, please do.
Obviously, I'd like to thank the companies that have supported the program. These products are roughly valued at 1,300, 1,400 Thai baht. We've had products for free, for example, from Blackmores. They've given vitamins and minerals for free. And we've had products at price down and reduced price. So thank you to everyone who supported. Also to our packing companies who have given free packing and wrapping products, so we don't have to pay for the packaging and administration. Logistics companies have obviously given free transportation to the care hubs, and also the hotels have given free space at their hotels as well to be able to do the packing. So I'd like to thank everyone who's really supported. I'd also like to put a thank you out to the ambassador. He's been absolutely fantastic. He's gone to all the packing events, he's supported, he's promoted the event. He's been a great successor to the story, so I really would like to thank the ambassador for all his support and guidance on this program as well.
First in line at every event he's been.
He's been first in line, he's never said no to anything. It's been absolutely awesome, really, really forefront to the whole program. And then finally, I have to thank obviously the members and the sponsors for donating. Without your donations, without your 1,000 baht for one box, we wouldn't be at almost 2,800. So to all the members, our hearted thanks from everyone at the board, from the CSR committee and from AustCham. Thank you.
Thanks, Saj. And it really has been great. I know, speaking to all of our board and our ambassador, His Excellency Alan McKinnon, the show of strength in the community here to donate to this has been something I think we've all been proud of. And on behalf of all of us, we would like to thank you, Andrew Norton, and the full CSR committee from AustCham Thailand for the amount of work that you've done as well. And I'll throw in a little thank you to my AustCham team as well, because they're, as they always are, deliver the goods.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously the support in the the background, especially from your team, coordinating all the products, coordinating the events was absolutely phenomenal. And the CSR team, Andrew, Joanna, John, Peter, Greg, been there behind us, coming up with new ideas, new ways to revitalize the program. So it's been really a whole chamber event. So I mean, it's changed the way of our 2021, and it's changed 2021 in a positive way.
It has. Great. And I'll just go back on, just for the audience, Saj did mention we're getting back to events. I think it's important that when we're at golf networking events, for us, life feels like it's coming back, and that's a really good feeling. But for those who are familiar with the work that Doom Pradeep Foundation, One Phuket do, the COVID problem is still very real in a lot of the communities. So this is still vitally important, which is why we're keeping it going.
Yeah, we were very lucky at the last packing event that our president, Chris, and the chairman of the British Chamber, Chris, also went to Doom Pradeep. They had, and they were very supportive to show us around and show us around their care hospitals and the program they have there. So things are obviously not better there, but they're trying to support the community as best they can. So I know these boxes are going to a worthy home and really supporting when people need that support. So I'd just like to say, everyone look out for 2022, when CSR committee will be focusing on additional activities. We're looking at a couple of programs: Stationery for Success in Computer for Causes. So we want to give back to the community and give back to the community in an easy way. And I know our members will be able to support very easily in 2022. So good luck and see you then.
Thanks, Saj.
Thank you.
Always a pleasure to have you.
My absolute pleasure. Take care, everyone.
Excellent.
Have a happy Christmas.
Saj Iqbal, Vice President at AustCham Thailand and Country Manager Thailand at Linfox. Well, that's our program for today. We'd like to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next time. Stay safe.